Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Stretch the Sketch. Today we are using the sketch from Series 18 of 30 Days of Sketches. This sketch is by Kristen Foster. I'm going to use it, but I'm going to rotate it one turn counterclockwise. And I was looking for some paper in my stash that had a kind of a nod to a Western theme. And I came across this really old pink paisley collection called Indie Chic. And I thought it would do the trick, so that's what I am using today. It has never been used. It was purchased, I don't know if this is from 2012, I think. I think I held it up there. It was either, I think 2012. Anyway, really old paper, but really happy to be getting it used and on to my, or into an album. The cut file that you see there is from MK's shop, some assemblage required. I'll put a link down below for that just in case you're interested in picking up this particular cut file. I'm using this lasso as my large circle, as is in the sketch there in the corner. It's the, the brownish circle there. So I'm using a little bit of pumice stone ink to go ahead and distress that and give it a little bit of a less white look. I want it to be a little more worn looking. I have a bunch of photos of my niece's oldest daughter doing horseback riding lessons, and so that is why I wanted the horse themed or Western style look kind of going on here. And I'm just trying to pick out my papers for the other circles. I did think about putting in some other additional cut files that had a nod to a Western theme, but by the time I get all the photos on there, I feel like they would be mostly covered up. So I just decided to go with the paper instead, and I am just using a bowl to mark out what the size is that I'm going to cut these papers at. Yeah, for some reason in my brain that day I could not figure out, I'm like, what do I normally do to measure out my circles? I know I do use there is a circle stencil from Sandy's shop that I sometimes use, but I don't know. This seemed to be what the quickest thing for me to grab, so that's what I did. So I'm going to go ahead and distress all of the edges on these circular papers, and then I am also going to take them over to my sewing machine and do some stitching around all of them. So I don't know if I got the stitching done quite yet, because I thought I showed that in the video, but maybe not. But I'm just kind of laying out where my photos go. I think I'm laying out my photos before I do the stitching, so I know exactly where I need to do the stitching, and if I should go all the way around the circles or just kind of do the areas where the photos are not covering up that stitching area. So I am trimming down the white border on my photos. I do not know why I left this in here, because it's really super exciting for you guys to watch me just hand cut some photos down. But anyway, you'll also notice there's a little white smiley face over one of those photos. That is because for privacy purposes, I needed to block out her face, and I forgot to do that. So I just decided to do it with the little white smiley and call it done. All of the other photos you can't actually see her face in, so I didn't worry too much about those. So here's about where I'm going to go over and take all of my pieces of paper and do a little bit of stitching around those circular pieces that I've cut. And I am doing that in a kind of a teal color thread, which I think works really well with this. It's kind of a turquoisey teal. Plays nicely with that turquoise stripe, even though I'm not using the turquoise stripe. The other papers do have that color in them, so I think it works very well, and I'm happy with the way that looks. Now I've just got to figure out how to rearrange my photos back the way I had them and go ahead and get all of my papers glued down. So I did just adhere a little bit of washi tape on the back side of those circles where the stitching is, so that the stitches don't come undone. I wouldn't want that to happen, so I want to make sure they are nice and stuck where they're supposed to be. And then I decided to use a little liquid glue to hold my big circles down, because I feel like that's going to make it really easy for me to just stick them down where I want them. Yeah, I guess I could have used some ATG, but for whatever reason, I just decided to use the liquid glue. So, also using a little liquid glue to hold down my cut file, which I am having span across the 2 pages so that it kind of carries across, which is very similar to what, well, it's not similar to the sketch because the sketch does not have 2 pages, but there is a circle that is going off the edge of the sketch. So that's where I'm kind of marrying up my 2 pages. So I guess my rope piece actually represents the big blue circle, not the brown circle, which you can only see a portion of that blue circle on the sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything glued down. I'm just trying to, again, figure out the placement for all of my photos. I'm liking how they're looking so far. I think I got 12 photos on this double page layout, which is not necessarily a record for me, but I felt like it was a good amount of photos, especially given that I've got several that are a full size 4x6, and then I've got some that are 3x4, and then some that are 2x3. So what I'm doing here is I realized I wanted to put some of these tags on here. These were also from that same collection, and I didn't want there to be a bunch of kind of a roughness behind my photograph where the tags slide in and out because of the cut file there and the intersection of the papers that are layered. So I am creating a pocket for my little tags to go in by matting my photo with that white paper. I did ink it up with a little bit of pumice stone as well. And then I just put some adhesive on the 2 sides and the bottom so that my tags can easily flow in and out and not get caught up on the cut file or that big circular bit behind that photo. So I'm going to do the same thing with the largest photo on the far right hand corner there, and have some tags in that area as well so that her mom could go and do a little bit of writing about it, about these lessons and her love of horses. And I think that'll give her plenty of room to write, with addition of a couple of little journaling spots that I'm going to go ahead and do. So this is my second photo mat. I just cut it down to 4.5 by 4.25 by 6.25 because I have a 4x6 photo. That just gives me about an 1/8 of an inch reveal around the edges, and I like that. I actually like mine to be very small, those little borders, and so this worked out really well. My only kind of weird thing was that the tags all have writing on them, and they all have writing as if you were going to mount them the opposite direction of the way that I need them to go in this pocket. So the writing will be upside down, the pre-printed writing, but at the end of the day, it's not going to show on the main layout, and when you pull out the tag, her mom can write on it in whichever way she feels like she wants to, and I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to just go with it and not worry too much about it, and keep working on my layout here. I did use those little border strips. They are adhesive backed, but there's not a whole lot of adhesive left to them, so I am using a little ATG to hold those down and keep them in place, because they're really just liable to fall right off of the layout otherwise. Also, I did not glue the knotted area of the cut file down. Oh, here's where you get to see the upside down writing. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, that they all seem to have it on it, so I'm just going with it. That knotted area of my cut file, I did not glue that down, so I'm going to be able to take one of those little border pieces and tuck it under. I'm not sure, that should be coming up here in just a moment. I thought I already did it, but apparently I did not. Okay, so I am also going through the little, they call them, I don't know, journaling clouds or something like that. They're basically speech bubbles. I don't know why they were trying to reinvent the name speech bubble, but I'm not a speech bubble person, so I tucked my pieces in so that you can't see the little speech bubble end of it, And really, there's only one cloud in the whole pack. So yeah, I'm not sure why they call them clouds, but I chose this scalloped edge one where she could do a little bit of additional writing, and then this little circular one. And again, I am tucking in the little speech bubble end because it's just not my thing. I'm not really crazy about it. So I'll be tucking that in like I mentioned. And then I am going to pull in a couple of wood veneer pieces from MK's shop, some assemblage required. I'm pulling in 2 horses that I think are really beautiful and will go great on this layout. Also pulling in some of the stars from this collection, and those are sparkly, glittery, and this collection is old enough that that sparkle does come off. It's not like that some of the glitter paper today where the glitter doesn't actually come off of the paper. These ones do, unfortunately. I did also pull in some chipboard pieces from Dusty Attic that have some barbed wire on them. It had birds as well, but I went ahead and cut the birds off. I felt like I didn't need the birds, and yeah, they were kind of big and in the way, so I just cut them off. So I'm kind of happy with the way that came out. It adds a little additional texture and gives more of a nod to that Western theme, so I'm happy about that. I did pop this star up onto a little bit of foam tape to give a little added dimension. And then I have a few little florally bits that were in the journaling pack of the cloud journaling pack. And so I'm going to layer up some little floral bits as well, just to bring that in and add a little bit more softness. I will be looking for a title because I realized I didn't get a title on here. And I end up finding one in my stash from Color Cast Designs, which is a pretty good match to the turquoise in this collection. It's a little bit more muted and soft, which is okay. I like that. And so that's going to go in the bottom right hand area. Meanwhile, I am just tying some knots in some twine that I'm using a little bit thicker twine than I normally do, but I feel like it's a good one for this Western type theme because you know, it kind of gives a nod to rope rather than twine, and so I like that and gives that added texture, so I think that's kind of fun as well. The photos are actually from a span of different dates, so they're not all from the same exact day, but I think that's okay, just, you know, capturing that she did horseback riding lessons, or she's doing horseback riding lessons. I think she's actually still in them, and then just capturing some of the highlights from that. So here is the title piece that I'm using. It says "Oh Happy Day," and I am just using some glue dots or Zotz bling to go ahead and hold those on. So I've got these 2 wood pieces that are horses. I am definitely using this brown one. I wasn't sure about the teal one. It is from a different pack, or different, yeah, a different package. So were available separately, but there is a white one that is also in the pack with the wooden one. And so I'm going to switch to the white one. There was actually more in that pack than these 2, but I used them on a different layout, and I don't have, you know, obviously don't have those in front of me because they're already on a different page. I just went back and forth on whether to bring in the teal or the white. I end up using the white. The white one is a little bit thicker. It is actually acrylic, I believe, versus wood, and then the other one is wood, but it's really hard to tell that because it just looks like a whitewashed wood. That is pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go check out everyone playing along with Stretch a Sketch using the sketch from 30 Days of Sketches. The playlists for both series are down below, so you can go and check those out easily. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Hit the thumbs up if you did, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing as well. Thank you again for watching and spending time with me today. I really do appreciate it. I'll be back again real soon with another video. So hit that bell for notifications so that you can so that you'll get notified each time I release a new video, which is frequently. Thank you so much again for spending time with me. I'll be back again real soon with another one. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.